If you ask different people, what is for you the most frequent or most important obstacle to implementing NCD, you will be able to collect a variety of very different answers. Some will tell you that Islamic fundamentalism has turned out to be a serious obstacle in their given situation. Others will tell you that the state church system, where the state, at least indirectly, sponsors the church, is an obstacle. Others again will speak about their poverty or their incredible wealth and call it an obstacle to church development. And there is always more than a grain of truth behind all of these different answers, because the world is full of obstacles. And one of the goals of NCD is to constantly identify those obstacles and looking for ways how to overcome them, or even better, to utilize the energy, even if it is hostile energy, that is behind those obstacles for the glory of God and for the growth of the church. We call this principle energy transformation. However, if you ask me personally, Christian, what is, according to your experience, the obstacle number one, I would give the following answer. It's confusing speaking about natural church development with doing natural church development. What is NCD? NCD is loving relationships. NCD is prayer. NCD is inspiring worship services. NCD is empowering other people. All the other things, including what we are doing here right now, is speaking about these things, and by speaking about these things you haven't achieved anything. And that is such a widespread trap, especially in Protestant churches. The Roman Catholic Church seems to be a little bit better in that specific area, but those churches which call themselves churches of the word are tempted to apply an almost magical understanding of the word. You know, I could give you a lot of examples. Churches that identified a certain minimum factor, let's assume loving relationships, in their church survey, and then they worked on that area, or they believed that they worked on that area for 1 year. They did a second survey and realized that nothing has changed at all. So some of them are quite frustrated, and they tell us NCD doesn't work because we worked so hard on that area, but we cannot see any visible change. And if you ask questions, what have you actually done in the past 12 months, you very often can identify that they have appointed a committee. And that committee met once or even twice a week, and they spoke about that area and invested a lot of energy into that, and seriously believed that by speaking about that they would implement automatically those things that they have spoken about. You can see this same magic understanding of the word even more visible when it comes to sermons, implementing loving relationships. It's preaching about loving relationships. And I don't say anything against this. This can be a very useful approach to, if you work on that minimum factor, to do a sermon series, for instance, on love according to the Bible. But if this is your only contribution to loving relationships, to speak about it, to preach about it, that would be a grossly unbiblical approach indeed. I mean, the Bible doesn't teach you that your contribution to more love in the world is doing sermons about loving relationships, but it's doing those things. Do not only listen to the word, but do what it says.